Yo, good evening, guys. What's happening? What is good? Billy from Philly, what's happening, bro? What's happening, guys? Are we all well this evening? Welcome to the Retrace Part 2. Things seem to be picking up. We've got some activity, but Bitcoin ain't going nowhere. So we're going to try and understand and make sense of what is going on. I need to buy the dip, 37k, please. You know what? Daryl, you got a point, bro. Bitcoin is pushing harder. All right? But we're going to have a conversation about this range very shortly. I just want to wait for a few people rolling into the house, as they put it. We got LA in the house. Where you at in the world, ladies and gentlemen? I like to know where my people's at. Pancho, what's happening, brother? What is good? Jeremy, Spiky One, what's good? Matem, we got the pattern watchers in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Be cautious of the pattern watchers, man. They are always watching. We're going to find out what the story is very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Tino Bambino, Bino Bambino, nice. Happy days. Good evening, Liberty in Trust. How you doing? Cannot screen. Yeah, the screen's not up yet, guys. I ain't rolling it out just yet. Just wait for you guys. I'm doing the polite thing of just letting you guys, you know, say hello to each other, because that's what this thing's about. It's the community of people. You know, you've got a community when you've got to wait for everyone to say hello to each other. You're seeing everyone signing everyone's name in the chat itself, you know, so we've just got to do the common courtesy and just let it roll out like so. Right then. I'm not sure what is happening with Dollar. Yeah, Dollar Yen's chilling, man. She's cool. She is cool. I'm just waiting for a few more people to roll into the stream. Wow. So yeah, that conversation we had earlier on about holding. You know, some people were like, yep, this is a trading channel. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a trading channel. You know, I day trade. That's what I do. But I know a lot of people are holding, and I can appreciate that many people will go through wild experiences and emotions when you're holding, especially in these current circumstances. So we're going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. As always, mad love and respect to everyone passing through to the channel. Everybody new to the channel, welcome to the Traders Reality. My name is Tino. Let's have a conversation, guys. So firstly, look, let me just put things out there. Yes, earlier on, we had the conversation about the story for holders, you know, and if holders behaved like traders, then they would probably see a lot more returns. Now, not to say that holders don't behave like traders, all right, but the holder will always hold on to the idea of, what if I close right now, I could actually earn more and it goes in my favor. What do I do there? You know, and unfortunately, this is the game of speculation. You're always going to have this. If you want value, ladies and gentlemen, okay, you go to the stock market. You look at a company, you determine how its earnings are. What's it like over a quarterly basis? Does it have accelerated earnings? Yeah. Look at its price earnings ratio. Warren Buffett, he established the idea of investing in terms of value because there's structure behind it. Bitcoin, the idea of Bitcoin is everyone needs to, or is trying to see if they can adopt it as a storehouse of value. Can you convert your wealth, any assets, into the value of Bitcoin? And will it maintain it? Will it hold it? So in essence, Bitcoin is likely to move higher if people adopt the same idea. But when you've got these wild movements in cryptocurrency, it kind of puts investors off the idea. And that is why they will tend to seek safer plans such as gold, which is why we've got this discussion about Bitcoin and gold. Who is the dominator as such? Will gold hold it out because of its reputation, because it's the common thing that everybody knows and refers to? Or is Bitcoin now going to take gold off the throne? Is this what's going to happen? Maybe in the next few years. Cool. Because Bitcoin, all right, 2000, when did it come out? How many years ago? 10 years or such? Now, let's be honest. That's nothing. All right? You know, gold's been around as a form of bartering from day one. Okay? So Bitcoin is still young, ladies and gentlemen. And to achieve $43,000 per coin for a digital currency, that is a dream come true. That is happy days. Okay? But if you're in the game of holding because you like the idea of holding it, cool. But in principle, you shouldn't be worried about your investment if it's going down lower, because you're in the bigger game. You know, we'll have another conversation about Bitcoin's value in 10 years' time. That's what I understand as a holder. He doesn't care about making money off the coin. He cares about it just going up in due course, and he's just going to accumulate as much of it as he can. Happy days. Traders have a different perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Traders are not interested in the value of a coin. All right. It does help to understand some economics behind the asset that you're trading. All right, that works. In stocks and shares, it makes sense to be aware when the company is going to release its profits. It makes sense to be aware of the earnings season. That helps in determining whether the stock is going to rise in value or not. Does it have the fundamentals to back it? Bitcoin has on-chain analytics, which is the equivalent or close to the idea of the financial information about the asset itself. But quite frankly, the thing about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin itself, in my opinion, right, is like the stock market. A stock itself is only going to be as good as the company that is, about the people that are running it, and whether it provides a service of value that people can take advantage of, pay for a service, happy days. All right. Bitcoin allows you just to move money. Okay. And we're trying to get people into the idea of adopting cryptocurrency to get them familiar with the idea of moving money digitally. That's the way to do it. Now, get people to that idea? Fine. Maybe Bitcoin will have more emphasis and people will start adopting it. They did what they did in the big game only a couple of weeks ago, and the impact of that, didn't really see much of it. In other words, only guys in crypto will be moving crypto up. That's how I understand it. We haven't had mass adoption just yet. So in my opinion, Bitcoin is in its infantile stages. Even though it's at 44K, quite frankly, Bitcoin does have potential to move higher and higher. But then we've got the issue of, if Bitcoin gets adopted across the board, will Bitcoin in principle turn into a stable coin? Could that be? Because once you get regulation into the game of crypto, that's when it all changes, ladies and gentlemen. Which is why in this channel, I do talk about other asset classes, such as Forex, okay? Looking at commodities, because if you limit yourself to just one asset place, all right, you're going to be caught in a situation where you might have a portfolio of, I don't know, maybe trades, or you might just be invested in crypto. What if you want to get involved in Forex? Because there has been a time in cryptocurrency when Bitcoin isn't doing much, all right? Where do you go? You just sit and watch Bitcoin, or you try and trade some of the alts. Well, sometimes that's not going to be the case. Yeah? Which is why when we look at Forex, it's a different story. Like today, look at dollar yen. Why couldn't we have taken advantage of a move like this to the upside? Yeah? Forex will always fluctuate, even if it's in a boring range. You can see it respects levels, it respects cycles. Dollar yen is my core currency pair. Love the currency pair. Traded it for a very long time. And look at these movements, man. Look at these for swing trades. Yeah? That was December the 1st all the way up to January the 1st. A nice monthly candle, nice rise to the upside. Happy days. All right? Then you look at Bitcoin and then you try and say to yourself, okay, where can I see similar behavior? All right? And you're sitting through all this accumulation, this madness right here, and then it makes a little move to the upside to only stop and come all the way back down. It's a very volatile coin, and as I said earlier on, in relation to holders themselves, it can be a little bit of a pain in the back when you enter at one point and then you see it rising and then you forget about it to only come back to the same point that you see chart at is where you entered again. So there is a lot of craziness that can be experienced by holders, and that's my opinion. Okay, have you looked at BC Backer's fractal? It's followed it for like 6 months. He's a YouTuber. Check it out. Curious on your thoughts. BC Backer. I've never heard of that. Never heard of that. Quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm aware of, you know, I know who talks about crypto. Right? I'm aware completely of what is being said about cryptocurrency. But the thing is this, guys, at the end of the day, we all have the same idea, and that is we favor Bitcoin to rise. All right. The goal of this channel in principle is to get you to be aware of how the game works. That's what it's about. We want to try and understand how the game works. So in order for us to actually make anything from this, we need to understand who is moving the marketplace. That's it. You know, Tino, what about a short squeeze in anticipation of a good non-farm payroll? Well, let's look at it like this. If Bitcoin's going to follow the behavior of dollar, yen and gold from now until Friday, ladies and gentlemen, we're probably going to get some stagnated price action. Asia tonight might see a little bit of movement to the upside, and the ranges themselves are very, very tight. We've got a new daily candle coming in the next hour and a half. So we're going to know where we stand if Asia's looking to do anything in relation to tonight's price action. So in other words, this is what I'm trying to say. If we look at dollar yen made this nice move to the upside today. All right. However, it's stalled in this area here. And my thinking is this. Just look at what they said today in relation to news announcements. Now, just bear with me on this. This sometimes happens in the market. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when it does, you've got to be able to understand how to translate this information. All right. And I did this as a video for the patrons, and I explained to them my logic into why I held this trade and why I was waiting for a certain thing to happen in order for me to justify staying in the trade as opposed to coming out of it. So look, let me show you something. So earlier on today, where is it? So this came out 14 hours ago, okay? And it said that unemployment falls by 11,394 people in February with a record of 22% of indefinite contracts. So this is, you know, this is solid, all right? This is solid stuff for the marketplace in terms of employment. People are getting long-term jobs. They are being solidified with income. Happy days. That's good news. And they put that 14 hours ago, okay? Today, we had the news announcement for dollar yen. On the Wednesday, and if we go down, we had the ADP non-farm employment change. All right. Now, the consensus was it was going to come in at 378,000 people in employment. Okay. But the figure came in more at 475,000. Now, because of that report that came out 14 hours ago saying that 11,000 people had gone into employment, in essence, that was the market just giving you, in principle, the heads up that the news figure could be positive. So this is what you're dealt with. You then come to the charts and you say, okay, well, what is the situation here? Let me go and have a look at the chart. So dollar yen at this point, just before the news announcement itself, we look at the chart and we say to ourselves, because this is what the story was beforehand. Let me mark it off right here. So this was the story of dollar yen before the news announcement. Okay, and in the video I explain that this area right here is where we are likely to see price visit. Okay. Now, why would we see that zone? Well, quite frankly, is we have an imbalance in the chart. Okay. And from the open itself, where is it? What's happened to my thing? What's going on here? Have I deleted everything? What on earth has happened? I don't believe this. I've gone and deleted my indicator. Welcome to the boomer moments of the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is the story. Here we go. There we are. So earlier, we have the imbalance right here. Okay. Now, we do have ourselves a little bit of a pattern down here, which is a mini W formation, comes away from the range. Now, if you look from here, you have got the daily open, which the ADR for dollar yen is roughly around 68 pips. Okay. Now, the high of that session would sit in that range right there at 60. Okay. 68 pips is the average daily range for dollar yen. On average, it will travel upwards 68 and downwards 68. Okay. If it resumes whatever direction. Now, we look to the left of the chart, we can see there's an imbalance in the zone. We are likely to return back towards it because that's where the market maker had built his longs in that zone. All right. We wait for the news announcement. The news comes out. And then before you know it, price obviously does its thing and spikes up and goes into that range and hits the ADR for the session and pulls back. All right. Happy days. That's just an example of being able to exploit news plays. And it doesn't always play out like that, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes they can drip feed information to people to encourage them to do something. And then when the news comes out, it's a freak figure and it goes against all the narrative of what they were saying. So you can assume that guys involved in the news announcements, okay, only know what they know until the information is released. Price will then reflect that. All right. Now, if that figure now has shown that more people have gone into work, then we can anticipate that on Friday, that the figures right here are going to be positive. Okay, so down here, it's probably going to be a positive figure. The unemployment rate is going to be reduced, which is good news because more people have gone into work. Happy days. All right. Now, tomorrow, it's a very important day. We have got Fed Powell, he's talking, and the ISM. Okay, so we've got some more information coming out. Now, if the ISM figure comes in better than expected, anything above 50 is a positive sign. Anything below 50 is a contraction in the industry. So as long as it maintains above 61.2, that's happy days. If it drops down to like 60.1, all right, it all depends on how the marketplace is going to react to that. How does this affect cryptocurrency? Well, if you notice that the disparity between dollar yen and Bitcoin, usually when you see Bitcoin rising, dollar yen is rising at the same time. Look what happened with dollar yen earlier on with the spike to the upside, similar to Bitcoin. And you can see that Bitcoin did exactly the same thing. Okay, now it's come back down. Now it looks like we are looking to see that recovery of that imbalance. Will we get another hit to the high? 1, 2, will Bitcoin come all the way up into this zone right here? 3, before it decides to resume activity to the upside? Because, guys, we've got a lot of news announcements that can affect the stability of what gold does. Look at gold. Gold right now is stabilizing in this area here. Is it possible that we could have the assumption that this pattern right here, quite an obscure W formation, rise, retrace, continuation to the upside to take back this imbalance in this zone right here and potentially try and make another high towards the 2K zone? That will be very interesting. Because right now, gold is testing the M2 pivot point. So principle would say that it would likely come up into the range of the M4. However, this range is going to convert into a new session in 2 hours' time. It's unlikely gold is going to jump that far in the next 2 hours or even 1 hour and a half. Okay? Now, the next one we need to consider as well. We need to understand what's going on across the board so that we can understand where Bitcoin's likely to go next. So the S&P 500. Right, we see some movement to the upside. Yeah, it's pretty decent price action. Traded higher and closed higher. That's good news for us. We're expecting it to come back up and it's making its way up towards this previous gap in the chart. All right, so ideally, the close of this candle right here could imply that the price is likely going to be coming back up again. Now, if I pull up this chart right here, the E-minis, it shows you what's going on right now. Okay. They actually moved a bit higher. They've now come back down a little bit. Okay. Oh, it's not actually showing it. It's doing it on MT4 though. If I bring up MT4 right here, you'll see the E-minis. Right. So now it's trading at 4376. It closed at 4373. Okay. So it's near enough exactly the same thing. Usually on this platform, it still trades. Okay. Now, So the S&P is rising up. So Bitcoin and S&P follow suit. Now, check this out. We have got the government bonds are slowly rising up. That's positive. That tells us that traders are going to seek risk. They want to get their investments in more volatile circumstances. They want to see a bit of a return on their investment. More importantly, if traders are putting their money in risky assets, why on earth is Bitcoin stalling? That's the question. How can we justify Bitcoin's behavior? Okay. If they're getting ready to make Bitcoin move higher again, they're going to spend as much time as possible in this zone building positions, because that's what's happening right now. People are waiting to determine if Bitcoin's going to go higher or lower. People are opening shorts. People are opening longs. This spiky behavior right here is no different to what they did over here. Do you remember? Remember this range? We saw the big move up. We were like, yeah, it's coming to the downside, because it needs to come back and recover the vector candle. The principle says, yes, it does need to come back and recover the vector candle. But we don't know when. And when we look to the right of the chart, they eventually recover it. Don't make the mistake of thinking that it has to recover it straight away. Ask yourself, why hasn't it done it straight away? So the less time they spend trying to recover it, the more inclined you're going to believe it's going to rise. The more time they make the retail trader believe it's going to go down, the higher it goes. Why? Because the retail trader believes he can get his short filled at this point right here. It's going to drop. It's going to drop. We're looking for 37, 28, 21. It's irrelevant. Stop focusing on price, ladies and gentlemen, if you are traders. Okay? Don't focus on it, because those of you that are waiting for 37 might not get that opportunity. Bitcoin could move up to 47, 48 from this zone. Okay? Just remember that. How do you think the guys felt all the way over here, ladies and gentlemen? Look at this. Mad love to you, Liberty and Trust, man. Thank you so much, bro. God bless you, man. How do you think people felt at this point right here, where they believed that Bitcoin couldn't go any higher and they were waiting for it to go down towards 2016 because they expected a full drop to the downside, and they were waiting for 20K to come into play? They must have felt terrible when they saw Bitcoin do this. Absolutely terrible. Then they saw it come back down to this point, and then they thought, nah, it's going to go higher again. It's going to go higher. I'm going to sit and wait. I'm going to wait for it. And then before it goes up again. This chart is only printing candles based on what people think Bitcoin will do next. Okay? Your goal as a trader is to capitalize on liquidity inflows. That's all you're interested in. The pattern so far looks like it's doing very well. Okay? When we look at the bigger picture of things, you can see that, yes, Bitcoin has spiked the lows, but it's now come all the way back up. And it's trying to break away this 200 EMA on the higher time frames. The daily time frame looks positive. Why? Because it's above the 50 EMA. And what's really promising is if the 5 and the 13 EMA cross over the 50 EMA on the daily candle, that's a big move. That's a big push up. All right? That's what we're in principle looking for on the longer time frame. On the smaller time frames, on the 1 hour, we are looking for these imbalances in the chart. The retraces back to the 50, the bounces off the 50, the continuation to the upside. When you're day trading, ladies and gentlemen, do not make the mistake of assuming that you're going to enter from this point down here and close Bitcoin at 53. Don't mug yourself off like that, because Bitcoin's journey might be like this, ladies and gentlemen, and you might not be able to sit through it. Spike up, comes all the way back down, chills for a little bit, and then makes its way up, drops, comes up again, comes all the way down, CA3 hits to the high, it drops, retrace, continuation to the downside. All because you're waiting for 52 and 53. You could have made yourself a decent bit of profit in this zone, and potentially in this zone, but now you're scratching your head down here thinking, what do I do next? So again, I will say it to you, ladies and gentlemen. And for anyone that is counting the amount of times I say ladies and gentlemen, please message me in the Discord, because that'll be really funny to know. I know I say it loads of times. Please let me know how many times I say it, because I'm the only person that says it so often. Anyway, listen. What I'm trying to get at is this. Establish what you are, scalper or swing trader. If you're a swing trader, you're looking for fluctuations in price, anything between, say, for example, 44K all the way up to 48, and that's being moderate as well. That's being modest as such, okay? Some swing traders, they get to take advantage of bigger plays, you know, literally 50% retracements in price. You can go from 30K all the way to 60K if you are brave enough to sit through that and you've got the liquidity to withstand that sort of behavior. But at the same time, do you have the mental, do you have the grit to be able to sit through the fluctuations? Okay, so before it goes to 60 from 30, how long is it going to spend at 31, 32, 35, 41, 42, back to 37, up to 48? Do you see what I'm saying? You know? Coach Mike, thank you very much, man. It's all good, man. Listen, approximately 10 times per stream. You know what? That is it. I believe that. Hey, Tino, I recently listened to a podcast and the capitulation trade was mentioned. What's your view on capitulation and how to recognize? I will show you exactly the idea of capitulation. All right. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. Again, he's rolling out that ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get a t-shirt and I'm going to create it. It's going to be called ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm going to get it out there to you guys. Here we go. Bitcoin's been dropping from the 9th of November. Now, we understand something about price action. Futures. Forget the idea of buying and holding Bitcoin, right? Futures is different because you're trading volatility. You're of the belief that the price of Bitcoin is going to be at a particular point in the future. All right? That's what you're trading. You're not buying Bitcoin because you've got a hunch on it and everyone's talking about it when you sit down and go and have your coffee at work and everyone's chatting madness about crypto and you believe that you're going to buy loads of Bitcoin or you're going to try and get as much as you can and hold it for the rest of your life. That's spot. You want to do that? Go to crypto.com. Go to Coinbase. All right. That's where you buy crypto. Or you can go to the OTC market, whatever you want to do. Okay. But the futures market doesn't affect the value of Bitcoin. The futures market is people's opinion of the price of Bitcoin. They believe it's going to go higher. That's why we see liquidations all the way up here and we see liquidation points down here because people believe it's going to go higher in the future. People believe it could go down lower in the future. And what we're trying to do is establish the journey of price and how soon it's going to move up and how soon is it going to move down and how long do they spend in each zone for us to verify if we should go long or if we should go short. Okay? Now, the story of capitulation. See, again, it's a psychological thing. What point is capitulation? Let me bring up the glass node. This should put things into perspective for you. You may have heard me speak about this in the past. All right? The glass node itself is good for the person that holds Bitcoin and he's not trading it. Right? It's great for that sort of information so you can understand where you are in terms of the actual coin itself. You want to get frisky with all of this stuff right here? Be my guest. It's too much for me. But what I need to pay attention to is what points in the chart are people emotional because they can only realize a candlestick can only be created if any of you guys go and purchase cryptocurrency. That's it. All right? So in this chart right in front of you, some of you may be aware of this, we've got this key at the bottom. Now this key shows the capitulation in pink, hope and fear in orange, optimism and anxiety in brown, belief and denial in green, and euphoria and greed in light blue. Okay? Now why have they got the same color for two things? Well, here's an example. When you see the orange, so optimism, right? When you see it rising, that means traders are optimistic, all right? And guys in holding unrealized profits in Bitcoin, they're seeing that optimism's coming in. So they're feeling hopeful about things, right? Or sorry, they're excited about things, all right? When you see it coming down, it means that people are feeling anxious. Now, when you see it go into a brighter orange, when it's rising up, traders are hopeful. When it's dropping down, traders are fearful, right? When you see it going green to the upside, it means that traders have belief. So they believe, oh yeah, Bitcoin's going up, Bitcoin's going up. When it's going down, people are in denial. Now, it can't go down anymore. It can't go down anymore. Then when you get to the highest point in the chart, which is euphoria and greed, All right. So when it's rising up, that's where people are euphoric. And when it's coming down and it's still in the same color, people are holding onto their positions because they want more, because they believe it's going to go higher. So then that leads me on to the next question. What are the points in the chart of capitulation? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have any capitulation points, and we haven't had any since since March 13th, 2020. All right. So that's nearly 2 years ago since the last capitulation point in the chart. And it wasn't that much of a capitulation either. Bitcoin drops down to, what was it? 5K? Yeah, 5K Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin was 5K at that point. All right, that was the last capitulation point. And then from that point, it went on to make mad gains towards the 60K range. The question you've got to ask yourself is this. Why do we not have any euphoric moments in the chart? Because the people holding Bitcoin don't get excited. All right? They don't get fearful. I don't think we'll ever see a capitulation in Bitcoin. I don't think that we will. Because the people buying the Bitcoin, all right, are probably going to keep it in a specific range, in my opinion. This is when traders like, your everyday guy coming into cryptocurrency and buying it. This is why the capitulations are so aggressive. Because when Bitcoin went all the way up to $18, people were losing their minds. But then as it starts to get more adopted, the capitulation is starting to decrease. That's because the people holding it ain't going to allow it to go there. Okay? Which is why the futures market has been created for us, ladies and gentlemen, because we can't really afford to buy and sell Bitcoin the same way we would buy and sell Shiba, all right? They provide leverage. They provide us this platform so we can trade on the basis of how the bigger players who are holding cryptocurrency react to certain points in the chart. This is all about profit taking, ladies and gentlemen. People translating their information that they receive about Bitcoin, what's going off in the bigger picture around the world. In other words, why do we pay attention to the idea of the S&P 500 and Bitcoin? Because the players playing the bigger stocks are probably playing Bitcoin as well as a volatile coin. They want to get a little bit of volatility, they come to cryptocurrency, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the reasons why Bitcoin rises when the S&P rises. All right, it's not because every one of the guys in crypto, the coffee drinkers chilling in their cars talking about cryptocurrency, are going to be influencing price. I'm sorry to bear the grunt of that, ladies and gentlemen, but this is a currency pair we're talking about that can't be usually picked up by the average trader. Okay, the new person that comes into cryptocurrency is gonna, I don't know what people's circumstances are like, but the person that is brand new to cryptocurrency will think many a times before he goes and purchases one Bitcoin. All right? Because when you say to a person, have you ever heard of Bitcoin? He's going to say, what's that? I say, it's a digital currency. And he says, and you say to him, would you like one? And he'll say, well, how much is it? And you turn around to him and say, it's $44,000, bro. He's going to look at you and say, you mad, bruv? I ain't going to pay you 44 racks for that. Is there a cheaper coin? Yeah, there's a coin called Shiba Inu, or there's a coin like XRP. There's a coin like, what do you want? So for this coin to be truly adopted around the world, it needs to be cheap. But if they ain't getting rid of it, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin will always stay at this price. Only the early adopters are going to benefit from Bitcoin. Yeah? Only the adopters from day one will benefit from Bitcoin's price action. That is it. The guys that picked up thousands of it at 0.41, like, well, what's going on there? And now it's gone to 60K. So what I'm saying to you is, even though Bitcoin is the most popular coin, it's popular to the bigger players now. It's not popular to the average Joe if you're trying to get people to adopt it. You ain't going to be able to send Bitcoin down to like $10 just to get the average Joe to buy some of it. Nah. There are too many players out there accumulating a lot of Bitcoin anyway. 1,500 Bitcoin, 2,000 Bitcoin, 200 Bitcoin here and there. These are the institutions massing it up, and the market maker will provide that liquidity for them if they're not buying it over in the OTC market. But of course, there's going to be traders that will come into it, and retail traders, sorry, institutional traders that will come to the futures markets of Bitcoin as well, because that's where they can exploit it, because they know that's where the new person in crypto is going to come and test his luck. If you can't hold one coin of it, you can come to trading and you can start playing leverage, and you can try and imagine what it's like holding a bit of cryptocurrency in a leverage position, even though you can trade it with coin or not coin. But you get the idea of what I'm trying to say to you, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Crypto, Bitcoin is for the big boys who are holding it, doing what they need to do with it. And leverage trading is the likes of the retail trader like me, like you guys. Okay. And that's it. This is our playing field, ladies and gentlemen, and my goal is to try and get you to be aware of how the business works. Don't worry about the bigger players accumulating Bitcoin. You should start taking advantage of Bitcoin when, if anything were to happen and it was to drop aggressively by an event around the world that we have no control over. Guys, we're in the midst of a war right now, and Bitcoin has been rising. That's sad. And it's good news for the holder, and it's sad news for anyone else that's caught up in between that madness of war. But do you see what I'm saying? Yeah? Because if the retail trader was truly involved in Bitcoin, now I'm talking if the retail trader had lots of Bitcoin, okay, he might be able to influence the price if he was to get rid of it. But we're talking about bigger players now, which is why you don't see no euphoric moments at 61,000 or 67,000 of Bitcoin up here. Yeah? These points in the chart right here tell you where traders were at their most euphoric point. When Bitcoin was cheap at $18, that's where traders were excited. When it went all the way up to, where was it? Or $1,000, that's when traders were excited. And that's where you see the bigger capitulations. But once we get towards 20,000, or sorry, when was it? The last point was 19,000 when Bitcoin was at its highest point. Because you could pick up some Bitcoin. A few people that I knew picked up a load of Bitcoin, about 5-6 Bitcoin at that time. But then when we get over towards the 67 range, there's no euphoric behavior, ladies and gentlemen. The glass node, if the glass node is what it is, okay, where's the euphoric behavior? Because the people buying it and selling it at these points, they ain't emotional. They're not even using their own cash. We're talking about pools, investment funds, hedge funds, banks. How can a bank that isn't in control, doesn't own the money, okay, be emotional about it? How many times have the banks sought help from the government? That's a different story, but they ain't going to mess everything up if it was their own money. Nah. That's another story, ladies and gentlemen. Please forgive me for chewing your ear off about this, but mad love and respect. Corey Malone, what's good? I got totally wrecked and started watching. Thank you very much. No worries, bro. Thank you very much, man. I hope your trading does continue to improve on that basis, bro, man. Who's going to buy up 1,500 Bitcoin sold, though? Probably those below. Well, it depends. Okay? It all depends on what orders are placed above or below. Remember, the market maker provides liquidity, and they have two approaches, simple and advanced. Simple is mean reversion. When price moves away from the 50 EMA, it comes back to the mean. All right. The machine learning is it's automatically placing orders above and below. So I mentioned this earlier on. And what it does is it triggers price to go in these directions by activating certain programs to move price higher and lower so that they can get their orders filled. Just understand the idea of leverage trading, ladies and gentlemen. Leverage. You're borrowing money. All right. Now, when you keep borrowing money like what's happening here, well, Mr. Market Maker's going to say, hold on, boys, what's going on? I've been giving you these longs by opening short. I want to take a bit of profit. But we're focusing too much on this zone right here, anticipating a drop down lower. Guess what? Bitcoin can drop down lower. That will be fine. All right? But the fact is they're staying in this range, and all we can go by is what they're doing right now. I don't care what's happening in the... I can't care what happened before. All right, I have to care about what's happening now. So I take what's happening now and try and understand what happened beforehand to understand what they're likely to do next. In other words, I start here I then look here and then look over here and assume what they're likely to do. Okay? So what I mean by looking over here afterwards is if Bitcoin's going to move higher, can they justify it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, they've been dropping since November. And for every position that has been opened to the downside, there has been a long trade opened by the market maker. And as you can see, we've got liquidity points in the chart that they can come back into. If I mark up this indicator right here, we're probably going to see it. Where is it? Vector candle zones right there in the chart on the 1 hour time frame. Now you can see that all the candlesticks right here, let me get the inputs set as private candles, bang. So positions, longs, long. They're all longs. And now the market is looking at getting it back. Where's the liquidity, ladies and gentlemen? Is it below or is it above? What have they been doing more of? They've been marking price down lower. This liquidity is from a while ago. Okay, they had every chance to go down to it from this point and from this point, and they didn't do it. That tells us that the market maker in principle knows that where's he going to get the interest from traders at? Because they've been dropping it since November, and traders are probably thinking it can't drop anymore. Come on, it surely is going to go up. So then the market maker's then going to reverse the algorithm and start inducing traders to believe it's starting to move up with the power of social media, because that's a great thing. That tool itself and all these indicators that people use moving forward, they're going to translate crossovers, moving averages, indicators, Fibonacci's, harmonics, you know, all of these things that people use to justify a reason for price to move higher. The market maker is going to fulfill those obligations, and he's going to set orders in these areas here against all the liquidity that's been set, because behind each of these orders in this zone, ladies and gentlemen, is a liquidation point. And behind those liquidations are orders for the market maker to close off his longs. Why? Because when people are going short, the market maker's going long. When you go short, you advertise your position, and your position as a short, when it's time to close it, is what? A buy. It's a purchase. You buy to cover. So the market maker will rise price to the upside and take every single one of these orders that will show a liquidation point for the shorts and move price up and up and up, because the algorithm is triggering people's buy to cover by hitting their margins, and then everyone loses their mind when they find out that $5 to $10 to $20 billion worth of shorts have been liquidated. And guess what? They're back into the charts again, doing the same thing to the longs. The question is when? And that is what we will always be dealt with, ladies and gentlemen. So moving forward, we're going to get into understanding where we are likely to see price go next. Asia, they're going to have their say tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Be mindful of this range. We do have this area right here. And of course, we have this zone right here, which earlier they had every reason to come back down to this area, and they didn't. This was a manipulative play by the market. Stop, hunt, rise, drop, but they contained the zone. That is positive in my opinion. Okay, just because they did this doesn't mean that they can't go lower. Just remember that. It doesn't mean they can't drop price. Don't ever think that they can't. Okay, what you've got to get into your minds is, if you're in a trade, where are you going to get out based on your understanding of them likely to bring price lower or higher, depending on your position? Okay, that's what we need to understand. So are you saying that when we see big reds down to consider a long? Coach Mike, listen, that's the principle. Okay, yes, when you see red candlesticks appearing in the chart, it means that you should be preparing yourself to go long. However, right, it doesn't mean that it's going to carry on. Do you understand? It doesn't mean it's going to turn back up. Because what if you had started to go long from here? The only way you can truly trade alongside the market maker is if you trade light. No leverage. Remove yourself from leverage. If you really want to trade like the market maker and start going long from here, 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 and here, you have to be able to sit through this drop to the downside, because when you trade like the market maker, you're already in the red, and 90% of traders that come to the chart are itching for a profit straight away, which is why they close them so soon. And they complain why price ended up going in their direction, because they thought it was going to go in the opposite direction. So they wanted to get their cash and leave. There's the idea of paying yourself. Yes, you pay yourself. If you're in a long and you entered long here and you see prices up here and it's stalling, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What, you feel like you're going to miss out on price moving to the upside because the market's going to close tomorrow and your account is going to diminish and no market activity is going to occur because you're in a long and you're scared to close it? Nah, bro, that's not how it works, man, unfortunately. That's the sad truth of the game. You know? What is this? Why, like, but why is censorship and not allowed to chat on Discord in the same time when the stream is on? Who says that's not allowed? This is first to me. Who says you're not allowed to chat in the Discord? The only way you won't be allowed to chat in the Discord if you have said something that is against the Discord rules. Like, that's all I know. There ain't no censorship. All right, you might not be able to swear, but you have to be respectful of people. Some people don't like the idea of swearing, you know? Some people might have kids, couple of words, you know, that's the name of the game. But censorship, bro, it's a bit of a bait word to use. You know, this is a community, man, protecting everyone and what have you. But yeah, I don't understand that. Okay then. Well, do you want to watch something impressive? This chart, Bitcoin doing the same move. This story about Amazon in 92. Right. Okay. Listen. All right. Let me just understand something. Let me just get this chart up right now. What's this Brer talking about Amazon for? I've heard about this guy talking about Amazon back in 2000. What was it? 2017 or 19? What was it? He's comparing Bitcoin to that. What's the justification for it? I don't know. No, vendetta. No, I know it's no disrespect. It's confusing, if anything. I don't understand. Okay, so what's the story with that? 2019. Can someone explain that? My Halo brother. What's going on, Avi? What's happening? No, I've been censored here without saying a single bad thing. Well, that must be a bot. I don't know. All right, we'll check this out. Yeah. No swearing in my Discord, of course. Okay. Coming up with concepts outside the hybrid and down and up and down making assumptions. Listen, the Discord itself, ladies and gentlemen, okay, you're going to get... Listen, what does the word Discord mean? All right, Google what the word Discord means and you'll understand what Discord is about, okay? There are people that are going to come with different strategies. That's fine. That's them trying to apply the hybrid, okay? And see if they can just counter it. But quite frankly, in my opinion, the reason why I've stuck with the hybrid system is because it's the business model. I'm not going to deviate away from that. I will take other schools of thought and apply it to the hybrid because the hybrid is made up of two schools of thought. All I've done is taken my experience from using the PVSRA method by Trader at Home and the Steve Murray Market Maker method. I studied both concepts, put them together and helped you guys understand how to use it. Because for me to truly understand the hybrid, I needed to be able to showcase people what it is it can do. All right. And from that point, we have created quite a few successful traders from the hybrid based on how they understand it by simply watching the streams. Okay. Steve must have hacked it. You know. What's this? Can't talk while I'm live. Why not? I don't get that. I don't understand that. I'll have to check that out, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have to check that out. All right. Anyways. So, this Amazon story, I'm guessing the guy's saying that Bitcoin's doing exactly the same as Amazon. Is that what the story is? I need to try and find out what that is. But if he's saying that it's doing the same thing as... Here we go. What's the story? What's he saying? Let me just quickly pull that up. I'll go the Crypto Savvy chart comparison. Did we have all career falling repo market flattening the yield curve 30 years? Okay, hold on a sec. I don't know if that was for me or not. But... based on what I understand about the Amazon chart, I don't know full thing. Okay, so what are you guys saying? The Tino EU news 2 hours ago. The European Central Bank will take measures on cryptocurrencies to prevent Russia from bypassing sanctions. Could this mean something as crypto is supposed to be decentralized? Look, if they decentralize, if they try and do that sort of thing, okay, well, they first need to try and understand the volume of it. It's the volume they need to monitor. All right, because if, for example, Putin is going to try and move Bitcoin, all right, he's going to be doing it in bigger sizes. All right, he ain't going to do it in $1,000. All right, you're going to know straight away from the transactions. So they're just aiming it at Putin. That's all it is. So is this going to be the demise of Bitcoin? Well, it's unlikely. There's been worse things. There's been more positive news about Bitcoin and price has completely flipped to the downside, okay? Then there has been bad news and Bitcoin's continued higher. Like, look at El Salvador, 7th of September. Pull up your charts and have a look at it. El Salvador, everyone was buzzing that it was adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. Drop. It doesn't make sense to me, man. So whenever you receive news information, ladies and gentlemen, approach it with caution, man. Because if it ends up on a platform like this, which is free of charge to access, they've probably absorbed it in the chart itself. Remember that. All right? Here we go. Summer says wage inflation should ring Fed's alarm bells. Why do they see that? Because traders react to it. The algorithm picks this up. Alarm bells. Possible to have more than one cover. Like, you know, they work on this. These markets are 24/7, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Here we go. I do think still appropriate to raise interest rates. Just say it. Should you do it? Yes or no? Yes. Don't be like, I think you should do it. Like, there's no here or there. Sitting on the bench all the time. Because everything that they say influences price. It changes value of investments. All right? They have to be very careful what they say. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure speaking to you all tonight. All right? It has been an absolute pleasure. I want to thank you all for passing through. If you are new, mad love and respect. Be sure to like and subscribe because tomorrow we'll be uploading another London Open video. I'll try and do it sooner this time. And then we'll be doing the New York Open live stream as well. Thank you very much. Gabrielle Godini, could you check the hybrid on WWin1? I'm confused about that. Looking at the 1 hour, one level up. Okay, bro, hit me up in the Discord, my man, because you've spoken to me before. You didn't have to do that, bro, but hit me up in the Discord and I'll get the chart up for you, bro. All right? Mad love and respect to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Please be careful. Tonight, Asia might surprise us with a nice little move, but I believe they're going to hold price until the news announcements tomorrow. Have yourselves a wonderful evening, guys. Take care of yourselves. Peace.